All right, guys, and we are back today with another interview. The Sooners, the newest Sooner, defensive back Makari Vickers today joining the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm going to Chick-fil-A here in a little bit, so my body's craving it. It's starting to go through
Yeah,
that like, oh, I know what's coming. And so, yeah, right after this, I'm going to go get me a spicy chicken sandwich. So, do you have a favorite at Chick-fil-A?
probably just a regular chicken sandwich. And, I gotta add the fries and the mac and cheese in there. Gotta add the mac and cheese.
Yeah, I've actually never had their mac and cheese. So, but I'm not also not a huge mac and cheese person. But I bet their mac and cheese with maybe like their nuggets or something mixed
Yeah,
together. I bet that's the way to go.
yeah, that's definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I do the spicy chicken sandwich meal, no pickles, add pepper jack cheese. I got to do a large fry and a small fry because it's Chick-fil-A, and in my opinion, they got the best fries. So I don't know
Yeah,
if you think they got the best fries, but I think
I
they got
think
the
so.
best
Yeah,
fries.
yeah, I think so. Their waffle fries are bomb.
Oh, they are. They are. If we're talking non-waffle fries, I definitely got to say Whataburger's got better. I don't
Mm,
know if you agree with that, but if we're talking
yeah, I don't know.
non-waffle fry, I like Whataburger.
Yeah, if it's not waffle, I don't know who I would choose because McDonald's they have their days. But
Listen, McDonald's perfected the French fry. They
yeah,
perfected it.
they did. But sometimes with McDonald's, it's hit or miss, so you never know.
Yeah, sometimes they're too salty. Sometimes they're just right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and ask you a question that we ask pretty much everybody on the show, and it's going to be pineapples on pizza. So, in my opinion, I don't think it goes together because you've got the marinara sauce and everything else. But, what's your opinion here? What's your thoughts?
Pineapples on pizza is a no go for sure. Like to me, it just pineapples doesn't add on the pizza. Like that's just not a topping. That shouldn't be there. Just out of place.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that idea and what the thought process was there, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
totally agree
not.
with you. This does not go.
Yeah, it's not it at all.
Now, have you tried a Hawaiian pizza though with like chicken and pineapple, something that's maybe like a little bit sweeter and not necessarily has the meat and the cheese and the marinara sauce?
I can't recall whether I've had a Hawaiian style pizza, but I've definitely had pizza that's sweeter. When I was out in California, I had a sweeter pizza. So I guess you could say it was a Hawaiian style.
Yeah, that's where I hear, pineapples on pizza really
Mhm.
best fits is with the Hawaiian style pizza. But still, if I go get a pizza, I just want cheese. That's my go-to.
That's cheese. So I
Or
need,
or barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken's really good too.
yeah.
Have you been to any good pizza places in Norman since you've been here?
The only place that I've really had pizza from in Norman is Louis. So there, and Louis's pizza is so good. Louis is so good. That's probably my favorite spot.
Louis is incredible. Have you had like any of their wings or their
And their
burgers that you
wings
right
are
there?
so good. Their wings are good. I had the mac and cheese. It was good. All of it is just good.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I've asked quite a few OU players on this podcast is, what would be an NI like if you could have an NIL deal with any restaurant, who would it be? And almost everybody picks Louis. Almost everybody picks Louis on Campus Corner.
Yeah, it would probably be Louis. It would probably be Louis. Like their pizza is good. I love their pizza. That's the first food spot I went to when I first came up here on the visit. They made sure I went to Louis, and they ordered my food. They got me the pizza. I was like, yeah, we gotta come here. So we ate at Louis twice that day. We ate lunch and then we came back for dinner. We ate Louis twice that day. It was good. Love Louis.
Okay, well, that's definitely a little interesting. And I think it's interesting that you talked about um, the recruiting and how they kind of ordered you your food. So, exactly how does that work, right? When you come on an official visit or you come up here for an unofficial, how does that work? Like, do you guys just go out to eat? Do you guys eat up at the stadium? Do the coaches go with you?
So a lot of times, well, how it'll work is we'll probably meet up at the stadium or the football facility, and then we'll all meet. either they'll take us or we'll just meet at a restaurant of our choice or their choice. It doesn't matter. And then they'll pretty much take us to like one of the best spots, one of the higher ranked spots, and they'll pretty much like give us a list of suggestions of what they think is the best of what they had, and that was really good. So it was Coach Bates. He was the one that really suggested the pizza to me. So I was like, I might as well get it. And when I did get it, it was just so good. So I appreciate Coach Bates for putting me on. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate
So have you ever had a recruiter steer you wrong on food? Like they told you, "Oh, this is good," and then it was just like absolutely terrible.
it. To be honest, nah. All the encounters and interactions I've had that's based like solely on food I've had, it's been pretty good. I've been recommended a lot of good spots. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, Norman's got some great spots. If you like Mexican food, El Huevo, that's really
Mm-hmm.
good. They
Yes.
do like a nacho tower thing where they come out and they bring it out and like and it's the tower. That's really good. It's my favorite. If you really like drinks, there's a place called Swig, and it's basically Sonic on
Mm-hmm.
steroids, but it's
Wow.
incredible. It's incredible. They do a bunch of different ones. Like I think my favorite's the Hula Girl, and it's like Sprite, cherry, coconut, some other stuff. And I'm not a coconut fan, and I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, that sounds so good. I love me a Sonic slushy. So if that's
Oh
something
yeah.
I'm saying, then yeah.
Oh,
That-
and their cookies, their chocolate chip cookies are to die for. They're so good. They're so good. You can get them in like a 12 pack, and they come in like a little cup, and they're miniature, so they're not like huge. But oh
Mhm.
man, they're yeah, yeah, that
Are
yeah.
they better than Insomnia? Insomnia cookie?
Now, see, Insomnia is just different though, because
Insomnia
Insomnia
is
they
just
come out warm. Their chocolate chip cookies, they're like colder, but they're still like soft, kind of like
mhm.
Insomnia cookies. So I don't know, it's a different experience because Insomnias are warm and then Swig is cold, but they're both like, soft. Just I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard
That's
one.
tough. Yeah, that's tough. I
I will
love
say there's a lot of great cookie places because you got Insomnia. There's which I know this one's more of a chain brand, but there is also what's it called? The place where they interchange their cookies like every week.
crumble cookie.
Crumble cookies, yes. That place is really good, but again, they're all different style of cookies. It's like
Mhm.
they're really hard to compare. And then of course Swig's got really good cookies. But yeah, you'll have to go try it out.
Yeah,
Especially if you like drinks. They got like 40, 50 different flavors of drinks you can choose from. So
yeah. I'll definitely have to look into that for sure. Definitely.
yeah, so go ahead and tell Sooner Nation a little bit more about you, right? Like, where did you grow up? Give us a little bit more insight about your family. What are your goals for life and while you're here on campus?
So all of my recruiting pages it says Tallahassee, Florida, and that's pretty much like the general area. That's the area that I claim. But I'm actually from Chattahoochee, Florida, and that's it's probably about 15, 20 miles. I want to say west of Tallahassee. So it's a small town. I just say Tallahassee because when I say I'm from Tallahassee, people know where that is. If I was to say I'm from Chattahoochee, a lot of people wouldn't even know that's a real place. So I just say Tallahassee so people kind of get a understanding of where I'm from. And then some of the goals and stuff that I'm looking forward to this year is really just meeting a lot of new people, making a lot of new friends. I'm kind of doing a good job with that, especially with my teammates, especially a lot of older guys. I'm already close with, a lot of the freshmen, but I've been making a lot of bridges and connections with a lot of the older guys. They've been taking me under their wing and they've been showing me out like all the other good food spots or places to go hang out or, just hanging out, or maybe we're in the team meeting room and we're going over plays. So they just been taking me under their wing, showing me around. So that's one thing, just making a lot of friends and then just really getting myself acclimated with Oklahoma and its culture and the people that live here. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So uh, you talked about, kind of building friendships here. And we've kind of heard a little bit about it, but have they given you like a specific mentor or like a brother per se? And if so, like who is that? And like, what's the point? What's the meaning around that program of having like a brother?
so we actually do have a big brother program. My big brother is Kip Lewis and he's from Texas. And we so the way that Coach BV did it, now that we have our big brother and he has his little brother, we have our lockers right beside each other. And the first day that he introduced it, he had to learn like He had to learn like 5 facts about me. So I had to learn like where I'm from, how many siblings I have, and just basic general stuff to say that you know a little bit about your little brother. So Coach VB, he just started this program this year, and it's just pretty much to help a lot of the older guys and younger guys just build connections with each other. So it's not a lot of so it's better chemistry throughout the year.
And that's interesting because you're DB. I'm assuming you're going to be playing more of the safety position, or I don't know if they've told you yet, but Kip Lewis is a linebacker. So, I mean, yeah, you guys are on the back seven, but you guys play different positions. So it's interesting that they give you somebody that's not necessarily in the same room as you so that you kind of have to branch out.
Yeah, that was definitely one of Coach BV's intentions behind it is grouping people that don't play the same position, so they have to hang out, other than when they see each other inside the facility, whether in the same meeting room or talking to the same coach. So it definitely makes you have to branch out and have to give effort to want to connect and make friends.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. I love that, and that's one of the things. Like, I don't know if you followed Oklahoma football before BV and the staff got here, but the culture is completely different, right? And of course, everybody has their own coaching styles,
Mhm.
but it seems like this staff is really family oriented. And kind of going into that a little bit during your recruitment, what went into choosing Oklahoma, right? We've heard a lot of people say it's because of the family culture. Some people just grew up being Oklahoma fans your whole life. What made you pick Oklahoma over some of the other schools? Because you looked at Alabama, and listen, we got some Alabama fans that join in our podcaster group chats, and so when you chose Oklahoma, they were a little hurt.
Yeah, that was wild. But I chose Oklahoma, like a lot of people say, because of the culture and the vibe that you feel on campus. When I first came, I wasn't really knowing what to expect because it's a new coaching staff. I really didn't know much about Oklahoma. So I was going in there kind of blind. I didn't know what to expect. But as soon as I stepped on campus, well, first I actually started with the fans on Twitter. I posted that I was going to be visiting, and I got an offer, and it immediately jumped to like 1,000 likes in maybe 5 hours. So the fan base, for one, is crazy, and that's another reason. But the fan base is definitely one reason. But it's just the vibe and the feel that I get when I'm on campus with all the coaching staff and everybody, all the support staff and everybody that's on campus. Everything is genuine, everything is authentic. You're not gonna get anything fabricated, or that once recruiting is done, they're not gonna flip the script and just act like they don't know you anymore. Like the relationship stays the same, if not grows throughout your time here. So.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. I love to hear that. I love to hear about the culture of Oklahoma and how it's changing. I definitely like to hear, why people pick a specific place over another. So, kind of staying on the recruitment a little bit, we talked about this one in the green room. Was there a specific recruiter that kind of just had the best jokes during your recruitment?
Um, had the best jokes.
Yeah.
Probably be Coach Villa. He's one of the funnier people, if not probably the funniest person on staff. He's just a ball of energy, and he's so passionate about everything that he does or talks about. So it's probably definitely him.
All right, that one's new. I haven't heard Jay Valai yet. I've heard Jeff Lebby. I've actually heard Nick Saban's pretty funny, which is strange because we
Yeah,
see him all over
Coach
TV
David
and wouldn't
is
expect
funny.
that.
Coach David is funny. He is a
Yeah,
little funny though for sure.
yeah. So, I mean, you've got to see two of the most elite programs in college football, right? Alabama, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's probably got more of the past history more than just
Yeah.
what we've done recently. Alabama's got more of the recency bias there. What was probably like when you walked into the two programs and you got to take your visits, like was there anything that kind of really stood out differently between the two?
What really stood out was probably like you said, Oklahoma's was more has a longer period of success, so to speak, and Alabama's is more so recent in the past decade or so. So when I walked into the Oklahoma facility, you saw all these banners from like the 40s, the 30s, and all the old gear and stuff that they used to have. And I didn't see that at Bama, and it really shows that Oklahoma is really like one of the most winningest programs in football, and who doesn't want to be a part of that? So.
Yeah, and we talk about the history and the tradition, and you see that a lot in the players and the previous players. They're always on campus. They're always attending practices. And I don't know if you've seen very many yet, but I'm
Mhm.
sure you will throughout the year, especially when we get to spring practices and spring games. They like to come up there. So yeah, I mean, we definitely embrace the history, but it's interesting because Alabama. I don't know if you've seen it, but they do. There's a guy on YouTube. He does tours of the
Mhm.
facilities. Man, their stuff's nice.
Yeah,
And I've kind of seen that, like in their lobbies, they have a area that's dedicated to their national championships, and a lot of it, it's the national championship trophy, not the BCS trophies that they would have won.
mhm.
So, yeah, you're right. It is a little bit more recent. But do you have a favorite sport outside of football? So, like, if you had to pick anyone to play and go play professionally, which one would it be?
Um, it's probably the basketball or football. I mean, not football. Or it's either basketball or track.
Okay.
I grew up running track before I actually like fell in love with playing football. So it'd probably be track, and if not, probably basketball. I didn't start playing basketball to like middle school. I only played from like sixth to eighth grade. But I grew so much playing basketball in those 3 years. Like I could have been good if I actually like took it seriously instead of just playing it for fun. So it's a battle between track or basketball. Can't really decide.
Yeah. Now, are you a Thunder fan yet?
Nah.
Who's your favorite NBA team?
I don't have a favorite NBA team, to be honest.
Ooh, ooh. Well, maybe we need to get you to a Thunder game then, because the Thunder, hey, the Thunder right now, they might not be the best team in the league, but they're just fun to watch. They're just fun to watch. A
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
do
young
want to
guys
see
out there having
SGA
fun.
play though. I do want to see SGA play for sure.
Dude, I in the past, a year and a half, 2 years that kid's been here. Oh
Yeah,
my
he's been
gosh,
dominating since he's been there. Yeah, I
it's
want to see him play.
incredible to watch the growth, and I think that's from a fan perspective. I think
Mhm.
that's probably one of the most interesting things to watch is you guys on the field or these guys on the court and watch them when they're younger and then watch them grow and develop into these, great athletes. It's
Yeah.
something I think we take for granted a lot. And we're, definitely excited to see it, just with you as well, because I'm not gonna lie, the OU defensive backfield has not always been the best. So we talk about it all the time on the show, and it's like this is probably one of the deepest rooms on this team, and it might be the best room, which we haven't been able to say that in a long time. And you as a true freshman, whether you play it or not, like this year, you get to be a part of that. And when we talk about being one of the deepest and the best rooms, that's you. So it's incredible to watch your guys' growth and development. But we talked about this one in the green room too. So on a Friday night, what are you watching? Like if you had to turn on a movie or a TV show, are you watching like a rom-com? Are you watching action movies? You watching
Hmm.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
So if I'm trying to get a laugh, the movie I'll probably watch, it's a parody movie, but I love this movie so much. I don't know if you probably heard it or not, but have you heard of Menace to Society? You've heard of Menace to Society? But so you know who Marlon and Sean Wayans are?
No, I might recognize them if I've seen their
Yeah,
face. You said
you'll probably
Marlon and
recognize if
Sean
you see
Williams.
him. But they made a parody movie uh, off the Menace to Society, and it's called "Don't Be a Menace to South Central" while sipping your juice in the hood. And to me, it's just one of the most funny and goofiest movies out there. I just love that movie so much. And if it's not a movie, if I'm not watching a movie, then I'm definitely going to watch probably the Fresh Prince of Bel Air or the Williams Bros. Or I like to watch a lot of the shows from like the '90s because those to me were like the prime days of like TV.
Oh
'90s
yeah.
and early 2000s.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That I don't know what it was. 80s, 90s, 2000s, they were just funny. Um yeah. Do you play a little bit of video games?
I love playing video games. I love playing video games. I'm a Call of Duty guy. I grew up playing Madden, but like I'd rather like play football on the field than play on the game. I'll play Madden like if somebody's talking trash. But like other than that, I don't play it. But I'll definitely play Call of Duty and a lot of the newer games that are coming out.
Yeah, so what's your thoughts on the new Modern Warfare 2? Because I grew up with the original Modern Warfare 2, and I'm just like, this just doesn't feel right, but it's still a lot of fun. Are you playing the war zone, or are you going into multiplayer and trying to play, like with all the maps and then the classic way?
I try to dabble back and forth. Before I moved up here, I used to play Warzone, but now I've been kind of playing multiplayer. I've been kind of growing in that, just trying to really. I had to start all over with my Activisions. I had to make another account, so I had to start all over. So I've been trying to dabble in both just to get my rank up. Really.
Okay, yeah, I think I play Call of Duty probably once or twice a week. Once or twice a week. Otherwise, I'm normally on the Nintendo Switch. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge Pokemon guy. I'm a huge nerd. But surprising. So you're not a huge Madden guy, but when the NCAA game comes out,
Oh yeah, when NCAA comes out, I definitely gotta play that because I hear so many. I hear my brother, my older brother. He grew up on the NCAA games, and he tells me how much fun they were. So it just makes me want to play it. Like, it's just one of those things. Where it's like I just have to play it and see if it's fun for myself.
it's so different because you grow up loving a college team or you grow up playing for a college team. And so like you envision yourself, oh, I'm going to play a
Yeah,
safety and the quarterback position. And so like you create this player that kind of like does it all and you're trying to win all these prestigious awards and go to the national championship and keep this dynasty going. And you're editing your schedule and your conference to include like all the best teams. NCAA, they're still, I don't think is a sport game to this date like it.
yeah,
Whether it was the basketball one or the football one, just because there's so much diversity in the teams. It's not just set to a set of pro teams, right? You know, you're playing.
hmm
You can choose from 130 different teams. You could go choose UAB and take them from 0 wins all the way up to a national championship the next year. It's a lot of fun. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be some stick competitions up there in the locker rooms when the
Oh
NCAA
yeah,
comes out.
yeah. Definitely when that comes out, it's gonna be a lot of competition. I already know it.
Yeah. So who's going to be your team when it comes to the NCAA football game?
Ooh. Mm, I'm gonna use Oklahoma just because if I'm on the roster, I'd be able to play as myself.
All right, all right. Now, if you weren't on the roster, who would you choose? Because see, I love Oklahoma, but I sometimes dabbled in other teams. I sometimes dabbled.
Mhm.
You ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings.
I'll probably play as Bama to see what Coach Nick Saban probably feels. So able to call some plays for Alabama.
Say,
Just to
hey, how
dabble
does
in
he feel
that.
virtually?
Yeah, just to see how it would feel. It would give me at least a virtual sense of how it would feel.
Yeah. So, we talked about this one before too. What album are you listening to on no skips while you're in the gym doing a Schmitty workout?
Ooh.
I mean, I
See,
know you
it's,
probably don't get to listen to AirPods while you're doing a Schmitty workout, but in a perfect world.
oh man, see, it's so many that I probably couldn't even name one off the top of my head, to be honest. And I listen, I like pretty much all genres of music. So if I like the song, I'm gonna listen to it. So I can't really tell you a specific album because it's so many genres of music that I listen to that I feel like a lot of albums have no skips that I could listen to in the gym to get my workout in. So to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you.
That's all right. We'll just give you some Taylor Swift. That's what we'll say it'll be is Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely do a 225 bench press, listen to some Taylor Swift for sure.
Yeah, so I mentioned Smitty just a minute ago. And listen, we've been trying to for people who don't know, we've been trying to actually record this for several weeks now, working
Yeah.
around the Smitty workouts. How has that been? And have you gotten to a point yet where you're dying?
Yeah, actually today, we started coaching stations this week, and man, those are a challenge for sure. But they've definitely had me at that point where you're just sitting there just rethinking life. Coach Smitty's workouts definitely will get you some days, and some days they'll feel too light and have you questioning yourself. So it's really one of those things we just got to come in prepared because you never know what you're gonna get. You could probably get one of the most hardest workouts, or you could probably just get something to get your body back up under you. So sometimes you just never know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. You haven't showed up late though, right? To a Schmitty
Nah,
workout? Okay.
I can never do that because I already know I'm gonna have to go that stairmaster and then do the workout all over again. So I'm not even trying to put myself in that position.
The crazy thing is the Stairmaster's really not even that bad because it used to be I don't know if you were familiar with it, but before they built that south end zone the way it is now, with the connected to the rest of the stadium, it used to
Mm-hmm.
be just a set of bleachers going all the way up, and that's what they used to have to run in full pads. I
Ooh,
mean, I'm sure they didn't make them do cleats because I feel like you'd fall in your cleats, but still, I mean, full pads and everything running up.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be yeah, that'd be a disaster. So yeah, just don't show up late. Now, you talked about coaching stations. A lot of the fans might not know what that is. So what is coaching stations?
In the most simplest terms, each position coach, they'll have their own station where they'll do their own drill pertaining to the position that they coach. So, for example, Coach Villar, he has he has two stations. And the first station is we'll run up maybe 5 yards to a cone, and you'll have to shuffle and then run, sprint again 5 and shuffle 5. And you'll do that uh, going down. You'll probably do it going down 30 yards once and then going back. And all of this is full speed. There's no rest. So the whole time you're breathing hard. You have to sprint, and if you don't sprint through the line, they're going to send you back. Like you literally have to sprint through the line and plus 2 more yards, or you're going to get sent back. So Coach Vlad here have that one drill, and then once we're finished with the down and back or the sprint and shuffle, then we'll come up. He has 4 cones set up in the box, and he'll either say 1, 2, 3, or 4, and the cones are designated as such number. And if he says any number, you have to touch that cone. So 1 or 2 are in the front. You'll probably have to side shuffle up to the first or second cone. And if it's 3 or 4, you have to cross over, run, and touch. Or you could shuffle or anything. So it's really just reaction and off of what he says. And you're pretty much doing maybe 5 reps in like 3 minutes, full speed. And then you have to keep doing that for 8 stations, and then we have fourth quarter. So after we get done with our 8th station, we walk around the field, hold the fours up to mimic the fourth quarter, and then we have three more coaching stations, and it's larger groups because it's only 3 stations, so it's a lot. It's larger groups, but it's still position. It's still position tailored drills, so to speak. So you still have to do some type of change of direction or something. And then after you get done with those 3 drills, and then we finish off with like friendly competition, and we'll do an offense versus defense tug of war.
Okay, okay. Offense versus defensive tug of war. I like that. I'm gonna need to see that on the OU social media page sometime. I'm gonna need to see who wins that. All right. So out of this recruiting class, who is the strongest in the recruiting class? If you get to guess.
If I had to take a guess, I'm not gonna lie, my guy Ashton, he's pretty strong. Like he's one of the guys that really shocked me. Like when we first came in, he shocked me, especially with doing a lot of the weight testing. He
Yeah.
is a lot stronger than what he looks like. He is so strong. Like it's crazy. So it's probably either Ashton or Caden. Caden
Okay.
is pretty strong too.
Yeah, we've had Caden on the podcast. That dude's big. Like when we
Yeah.
talk about on the offensive line and how big of a get he was, like the left side for the offensive line this year, Oklahoma got demolished. Whether it was the NFL draft,
Mhm.
actually, it was pretty much all NFL draft. All 3 of them left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Caden Green, like he is big. He's the guy that can
He's
come in and start for you
huge.
right away. But yeah, no, Ashton Sanders, I have real high hopes for him to be able to play at the nose tackle position for us. Like you're right, he's a big dude.
Yeah. My guy's been looking good in all the workouts and stuff too. He's definitely the freshmen we're working hard. We're definitely trying to make a name for ourselves, and Ashton, he's doing just that. So
Yeah, yeah, and you guys are trying to make a name for yourself as Oklahoma is heading into the SEC. Like, was there any like like portion of your decision that kind of goes into that recruitment, knowing okay, Oklahoma's going to the SEC, so I still get to play in the best conference, and then right now, I mean, what does that work look like for you guys trying to get on the field as fast as possible so that you guys are able to help us excel as much as possible in the SEC?
to be honest, I didn't like during recruit. I didn't really know that we are going to be in the SEC within the next year. I was at least expecting it to like at least take to at least my sophomore year, at least 2 years before we moved to the SEC. But to be honest, I didn't really know that we were going to be moving. So I wasn't really thinking about planning the SEC so much. I was still focused on Big 12 and just getting things done that we had to do there. And then, with us trying to make a name with ourselves, also going to SEC next year, it definitely puts a lot of, it just makes us want to work harder because we know that we're going to have to live up to so much more higher expectations, especially with how people are saying this class is going to turn out. And then, we're going to be facing tougher competition with the SEC. So we're definitely going to have to, pretty much show everybody that we're willing, that we're supposed to be here and we're going to stay. So we're
Yeah.
definitely going to do our hardest and make sure that we make a name for ourselves and do what we need to do.
I think you guys will do it. I think you guys will do it. I mean, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world preparing to go to the SEC and play head to head with those teams. And, they got a good start on us. But I think between this class and next class, y'all are going to be able to be a force to be messed with over there in the
Yeah,
SEC.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
so have they has the staff given you any idea of how you're going to be utilized in this defense? And, are there any expectations going into year one for you?
As of right now, they've been having me really just look over the corner spot and just get that locked down, so I know pretty much everything I know to do there. That way, I can use my versatility that they love so much in my recruitment to branch out and learn the cheetah and safety positions. That way, if I don't need to be on the field at corner, then that way I can be on the field at cheetah or the safety position. So.
Okay, so potentially maybe at the cheetah position because I mean you did run track. I mean you're pretty quick and you got to be quick to play that position.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. What's your thoughts on the cheetah position so far?
Um, the cheetah position looks fun because you have a lot of free range and the keys and some of the reads and stuff that we have. So you have a lot of free range, so you can definitely toy around and play with it and kind of see what works best for you. So I definitely like the cheetah position. That's pretty much how all the back seven is. You know what you have to do, but you can play around with a toy with it and see what works for you. So.
Okay. 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 All right. Yeah. Yeah. Because the cheetah position is weird. It seems like there'll be multiple cheetahs on the team depending on
Mhm.
kind of how they play. Because you got the guys that play the back seven on the cheetah, but then you got the guys that can kind of hurry up to the line and almost be like a defensive end. So
Mhm.
it's almost like you got to have like two sets of cheetahs there, depending on who you're playing and kind of
Yeah.
what works best in those schemes. So that's interesting. But as we start to wrap up here, is there anything that any advice that you would give your younger self or maybe anybody else that's kind of like watching you in your journey and wants to get to this level one day?
If anybody just wants to get to this level, man, all it really takes is prayer for one, because without God putting you in this position, giving you all the talents, I feel like for one, you wouldn't even be in this position. He pretty much knew, but like before you were born, what was going to happen and what was your journey going to be. So you definitely want to thank God, if not pray, at least acknowledge Him and let Him know that you know that He's the reason that you're in this position. And also, don't let that be the reason. You still have to work. You still have to work hard. So just don't leave it all up to God. You still have to work. You still have to put the work in. You still have to put all the blood, sweat, and tears into it, because even without work, the talent is going to catch up to you. People are going to catch up to you if you're just going off talent. So you just have to definitely keep working. And no matter how things look, you might be feeling good, but you still want to work, because it's always something that can be touched up and fixed. And it's as far as technique wise, so it's always something you want to do. So definitely just keep working, always be on the grind, and also stay humble. Never get too big headed, because it can always come back and bite you.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit about your faith there, and I have an interesting question about this. So, I mean, you're moving away from home. You're in a new state, you have
Mhm.
to make new friends. Like how important is it for somebody like you to like rely on your faith at that point, and to be rooted and grounded there as you progress through this journey?
I feel like this is really where, as a young person, this is really where you get to like explore your faith. Like, you're not home with your parents, so they're not gonna be forcing you to go to church like the case was with me. So now that I have the little bit of freedom, now that I have a lot of freedom that I'm technically used to, uh, you definitely have to go out and rely a lot on your faith, because it's a lot of, especially in college, there's a lot of things that can pull you in and try to take you away from what you believe in and what you stand on. So it's definitely that you have a strong base on faith for sure.
Okay, I love that. I love that answer. Down here, in Oklahoma, like we're considered the Bible Belt, right? A lot of
Right.
people love those answers. They love to hear a little bit more about that. We've had Jaden Knowles on as well, and he's talked about it. So love that answer. Love to hear it. Is there anything that you want to tell Sooner Nation as we wrap up?
Uh, if anything, just be prepared for the seasons to come with the guys that are coming in each year. Just be prepared for all the greatness that's going to come. A lot of guys that's in the facility, we're working hard to make sure that we live up and defend our standard. That's the thing, DTS, defend the standard. So that's just be prepared for having a lot of wins on the schedule, a lot of dubs. Just be prepared for it.
All right, and pack the palace for the spring game.
Pack the Palace.
Pack the
Pack the
palace.
Palace for the spring for sure.
You want to see 85,000 people. You don't want to see
Yeah,
one.
we definitely have to have more than last year. That I feel like if we pack 85,000, then we're doing good.
Listen, we were almost there last year. We were like 70,000 last year. We were
Yeah, that's
almost.
crazy.
We were almost.
70,000 for a spring game is almost unheard of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because then you looked at the national champions, Georgia, last year, right? And what their spring game was. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close.
Exactly. Like that's
So,
crazy.
all right. All right. Hey, well, Makari, we appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm sure we'll link back up again towards the end of the season and talk about kind of how your freshman year progressed. But if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. Listen, if you guys like interviews like this and you like this content, that little interaction, it goes a long way. And listen, if you haven't, go over to Twitter, follow Makari. Makari, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at mbgreat and on Instagram at bgreat_m.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, until next time, Boomer.